So this is the last of the juniors, at least for now. We're looking at Cab, or Hosehead, who is maybe the best one of the six. He's definitely up there for me. Uh, I just off the get-go, I've done some work to him as far as stickers go. I added a bunch of stuff that I had laying over, like this silver stripe and these little headlights and all the silver on the arms, and also on the back here I added like tail lights and everything. Usually he's a little bit more plain, but as far as fire trucks go, he's like easily the best one in G1. Like he's much better than Inferno, just because Inferno's ladder didn't even move, and this guy, it moved, it extended, but it couldn't rotate. Well, this guy, not only does he have a pretty long ladder, but it can also rotate around and do stuff, which is always fun. I will say he doesn't have as good of a cockpit as Inferno, in that he doesn't really have a cockpit. He just sits like right here. But here's Cab, and again, I don't remember their American names outside of Muzzle, so this is just Cab to me. And he's probably my favorite looking out of the Autobot ones in this mode. He's got a pretty good sculpt. Mine has like weird stress marks, like right on the head there, if you can see that. But yeah, you do the same thing as all the other ones, and he has a weird amount of detail for like a Headmaster Junior. Like usually they wouldn't sculpt these ears because they have like the little plug-in ears, but I guess he has two sets of ears. So the helmet will just pop out of there like that, and then these two little side cannons will plug onto here like that, and you combine it and you get a pretty big looking head. And out of all three of the Autobot ones, I think this one probably looks the worst when it comes to the helmet. I don't know, it's too wide. I think these earpieces could have been a little bit cleaner. But yeah, as far as transformation for the Transdector goes, we can keep the gun on, but I'm going to take it off. Fold this up. Open these little front flaps like that. Rotate this entire thing down on pretty nice sounding ratchets. Stand them up. Pull the arms to the side like this. Fold them up. And he has these really satisfying little sliders for the hands, and then these side flaps will just come back like this, which is honestly kind of unnecessary because like, it would have looked fine like that, but I guess that makes it a little bit cleaner looking. And then we'll just open up his stat thing and plug in the Headmaster. So you can see he's the strongest out of the Autobot ones. Not very smart, not very fast, but you just give him his gun, and that's Cab for you, or Hosehead. And he's a really nice looking toy. He's just a blocky little man. He's made out of blocks. I think the stickers I added help break up his arms a little bit more, as well as the stripe kind of makes his legs look a little bit separate instead of just one solid block. But even without those, he looks pretty nice. As far as articulation goes, it's all in his arms. He can do this. You have a little bit of an outward butterfly jaw just because of how he transforms, but that's about it. You can, if you want, kind of use the ladder here. You can rotate it around and then just like, I guess not really. Like you can do this rather, like have him shoot water from on top of his head, kind of like a hose head. But usually you just keep it back there. As far as size comparisons go, here he is next to Nightbeat, and I don't have a Siren, but I do have Ghost Shooter. So kind of a mismatched team. I kind of want a Minerva and I kind of want a Siren just to have a matching set, but for now it'll do. And he's kind of the shortest of the three. He's not that much shorter than Nightbeat, but Ghost Shooter is definitely the tallest. And we'll bring in the Decepticon ones as well, just so they can all be on screen. So, look, it's never super established, but I always thought that like Nightbeat or Minerva is kind of like the Cancer equivalent. Cab was kind of like the Bullhorn equivalent, and then Fangry or Wilder was the Go Shooter equivalent. Just kind of because of their roles in the show, I suppose, and their interactions. Like, they're kind of the strong guys, they're kind of the leader types, and these are kind of like the fast support types. I don't know what you would call them. But yeah, you can see how much smaller the Decepticons ones are. Like, I kind of, I guess he's the shortest, he's the tallest, and he's the second tallest, or he's the middle one. So they don't super match in terms of what I just said with the world types, but yeah, they are very expensive and not super worth it. But if you do want them, I would recommend the Hosehead as like if you want an Autobot one. I think he's probably the cheapest one to get. Um, he's probably the most fun and least brittle, and he doesn't really yellow that much. Like the gray plastic can yellow, and like my helmet is a little bit yellowed, but he doesn't use that much of it, so it's not that big of a deal. You can pick him up for like 100 to 150 complete, which is not the worst thing at the end of the world for a G1 toy. And yeah, I really like the juniors overall, though. If we're just judging them as a set, um, they're not as good as the 87 Headmasters, not by a long shot, but they have their own unique charm. And for what they are, I kind of like these minifigures a little bit more than the full Headmasters, just because um, they don't have like I've talked about this in the shooter video, but like these are nice, right? But I don't see the point of having these arms because they can move, but moving them is like so scary because of the way they like. You see how like it pushes up against the back of the head for it to move. It's kind of like the detents on Bullhorn's neck, where it's like it's meant to lock them in, but why? Like it's so unnecessary. So these not having any articulation doesn't really bother me, and they're a very very small size that's kind of satisfying. They really remind me of Diaclone pilots in a way, and I kind of prefer them. If I'm being honest, these are better and less brittle to an extent because these guys can break on the clips and stuff, and you can sometimes find them without their legs entirely. So but these guys can also break on the arms, so it's a give or take. But as far as like face sculpts go, I think I tend to prefer the juniors, although the 87 ones can look pretty good. Hybrid is one of the better ones, but like some of them, like I really don't like Weird Wolf or Mind Wipe that much, where the brow becomes like the face itself. I always thought they looked kind of ridiculous, but these sculpts are pretty sharp for the 80s. So, but yeah, as far as which one I would go for, definitely the Autobot ones first. Like the Decepticon ones, Cancer is really good, or Squeeze Play is really good, but all three of the Autobot ones are a lot of fun. Cancer, I would say, is worth picking up. Wilder or Fangry, if you're curious, and I would avoid Bullhorn or Horrible unless you want the entire team or the entire set. But yeah, they're pretty nice toys overall.